The concept of universal laws is a popular one in spirituality and personal development. These laws are thought to be fundamental principles that govern the universe and everything in it. While there are different interpretations of the specific laws, here are 12 of the most commonly discussed universal laws, along with real-world examples of how they apply in our lives. The law of divine oneness. This law states that everything in the universe is connected and part of a single, unified whole. An example of this is the interconnectedness of all living beings on Earth, and how our actions can have a ripple effect on others. The law of vibration. This law states that everything in the universe vibrates at a certain frequency. This includes our thoughts, emotions, and actions. An example of this is how positive thoughts and emotions can raise our vibrational frequency, while negative thoughts and emotions can lower it. The law of action. This law states that we must take action to manifest our desires and create change in our lives. An example of this is how setting goals and taking steps towards them can lead to positive results. The law of correspondence. This law states that our outer reality is a reflection of our inner reality. An example of this is how our beliefs and thoughts about ourselves can shape our experiences and relationships. The law of cause and effect. This law states that every action has a corresponding reaction or consequence. An example of this is how treating others with kindness and respect can lead to positive relationships and experiences, while negative actions can have the opposite effect. The law of compensation. This law states that we are rewarded for our efforts and actions. An example of this is how hard work and dedication can lead to success and achievement. The law of attraction. This law states that we attract what we focus on and believe in. An example of this is how a positive attitude and mindset can attract positive experiences and relationships. The law of perpetual transmutation of energy. This law states that energy is constantly in a state of flux and can be transformed from one form to another. An example of this is how we can transform negative energy into positive energy through practices such as meditation and mindfulness. The law of relativity. This law states that everything is relative and can only be understood in comparison to something else. An example of this is how we can only understand our own successes and failures in comparison to others. The law of polarity. This law states that everything has two opposing forces, such as light and dark or positive and negative. An example of this is how challenges and difficulties can ultimately lead to growth and positive change. The law of rhythm. This law states that everything in the universe operates in cycles and has its own rhythm. An example of this is how our moods and emotions can shift and change over time. The law of gender. This law states that everything in the universe has a masculine and feminine aspect, and that these aspects must be balanced in order to achieve harmony. An example of this is how balancing our work and personal lives can lead to a sense of overall balance and well-being. While these laws may seem abstract, they can provide a helpful framework for understanding our experiences and creating positive change in our lives. By focusing on the principles of universal laws and applying them to our everyday lives, we can cultivate a greater sense of awareness, purpose, and fulfillment. All links are in the description.